Hey guys, it's Deanna from Far From Homesteading. Today I'm outside finishing up the 5 things on my winter checklist that I make sure that I do every year. And I was thinking, why not share those things with you guys? So here we go. I hope you find this super helpful this winter. Number 1 on my winter checklist is heating the home. We use wood to heat the home. It takes a lot of work. It doesn't cost a lot of money if you do it yourself. And honestly, I really like the connection that you get with nature when you heat your home with wood and you go out and you do the work yourself. I understand, my hair's tickling my face. I understand that a lot of people can't do that, and that's fine. I mean, you can buy your wood from someone or heat your house a different way, whatever works for you. But just make sure that you are ready to heat your home. We like to make sure we have enough wood, and you see this giant stack of wood behind me, and there's wood in that building back there, and then there's another stack of wood right over here, and I don't know if that's going to be enough. I struggle every winter with how much wood do I need, and we were going to go back and get a few more loads of wood, but the axle broke on the truck, and then it took us a few weeks to get the truck in to the shop to get it fixed. $900 later, and the truck is ready to go get wood, but we are super busy, so hopefully we're going to get a chance before there's too much snow on the ground to get up on the mountain to get wood. If you guys haven't seen, Brandon did a video about getting wood a while back, and you get to drive down the road with him for a little ways. Now just imagine that you're carrying a giant load of wood and there's snow all over the road. It's just super slippery and it's dangerous. They are sure to give you lots of warnings about how dangerous it is. So we like to get our wood before the snow is on the ground, but there is already snow in the mountains. So if we don't hurry, we're just going to have to buy wood if we need it later, and that's okay. Now, if you use propane, you're going to want to have your propane tank filled. Obviously, you're just going to want to get ready for winter. You're going to want to have everything you're gonna want to have everything prepared. If you were hearing a noise around me, my goats are over here eating little pieces of bark on the ground because that's just what they like to do. Now, if you have an HVAC system in your house, or an HVAC unit, you might need to have it serviced before winter. You will want to get a clean filter. You want to make sure your ducts are clean because that's really important. You don't want to wait till winter to do these things. So you want to have it done before winter. That way you're ready when winter hits. Okay. I love you. Move. I love you, but you gotta go so I can do my video, okay? I gotta get up so we can do number 2. Let's go. Move. Alright guys, number 2 on the list is your hay and your feed storage for the winter. This is going to be very important if you have animals or livestock that depend on you to feed them in the wintertime. Like I said, my truck, the axle went out on my truck. You know, a few weeks later and I had my truck fixed, but if that had happened in the wintertime and I wasn't able to go get feed for my animals, that would be a horrible ordeal. I mean, that is unacceptable. If you have animals, you need to be prepared for winter, and that is why it is very important. And number 2 on my list is to stock up on the items that you're going to need for your animals for winter. Okay, so for our feed storage, we have this Connex. We keep our feed in it. It keeps it dry. It keeps the mice out of it. And that is where I keep the extra feed. The feed that I am currently feeding, I have a barrel with a lid. It's plastic, but so far I have not had any problems with leaking, condensation, or pests, rats, anything like that. I haven't had any problem. It's just a 50-gallon trash can with a lid. I keep the feed in and it works perfectly. And then the extra feed I keep in here and it stays dry and out of the elements and nothing can get to it. This is a great investment to store your things for winter. Let me show you how we store our hay without a barn. Yes, we are working on getting a barn built, but it is not built yet. And don't let that stop you. You do not have to have a barn to have animals that require hay. It just takes a little extra work, but you can do it if that's what you really want to do. Let me show you. All right, so here is how I'm keeping my hay currently until the barn is finished. And that is covered in plastic on pallets. You don't want to put your hay on the ground because it will get wet and it will mold and it will be bad for your animals, and it will be bad in the wintertime when you don't know where to find hay. I promise, because I have done it. I did not cover my hay properly the first year, and I ended up with many round bales that were ruined, that went in compost, but that were ruined as far as my animals went. The price of hay has doubled this year, so I do not want to waste $110 per bale that gets ruined. I just don't want to, right? I've already had a slight incident, so one getting wet, and I had to dry it. And I did lose part of the bale. It did just start molding on the side right away. So keep that in mind, guys. Cover your hay good. You're gonna, and the reason that one started molding on the side is because when I pushed it off the truck, it did not land on the pallet, so it was laying on the ground. And that's what happened to the hay, is it just, you gotta get it up on a pallet. And I've got this lifted up here so you can see that it's on a pallet, but I'm gonna pull this down because I'm gonna have snow, probably this deep at least, all winter. So I'm going to want to make sure this is really good and covered all the way around. And what I'm going to do is, after I get it all pulled down here in a little bit, after Brandon gets off work, we're going to get a rope and we're just going to kind of tie it around to keep that plastic pulled down on the bottom. That way it doesn't get wet and start molding. Hay is just way too expensive to waste these days, guys. Isn't that right, Snugs? Hay too expensive? I let the goats out today so they could hang out with me. And they are following me around like little puppy dogs. So, sweet girls, sweet girl. I love my goat. Okay, anyways, let's get back to this video. So, when it comes to hay, you can be prepared by knowing the kind of animal you have and what their hay needs are. I know that Snuggles here her hay requirements are 4 to 5 pounds of hay a day. They say 4 pounds, but I like to spoil my girls, so I like to add a little extra, give them a little cushion, you know. And, you know, I'm not weighing it out. I'm just, you know, I give them about the same amount every day. But I know what their hay requirements are. So when I buy hay, I know how much a bale of hay weighs, and I just make sure that I have plenty and extra. Like I said, in case a bale of hay gets wet, you want to have extra, at least one extra bale of hay, just in case. Especially if you live someplace where it snows a lot, or there's a lot of winter. Also, keep this in mind if you live in a cool place like I do. There is going to be snow on the ground until April. You're not going to be getting fresh hay being cut until, I don't know, probably June at the earliest. June, I would say June. So you're going to want to make sure, if you live in a cold place, that you have enough hay to last you until the first cutting of hay. Whether that be an extended winter or not, you need to keep that in mind. There might be snow on the ground for longer than you think. I mean, there's been snow on the ground here in May. So keep that in mind when you're doing your math, guys, okay? I also like to get extra food for my dog, because I want to make sure all my animals are just well fed in the wintertime when they really, really need it. Like in the wintertime, I'll probably start making some fodder for the chickens, just because it keeps them laying, I feel like, a little bit better, and it just, I think, makes them happier. I think chickens can get depressed in the winter too. Amen, why not? I mean, it is bleak and cold and snowy and just miserable. Please stop chewing my pants. The neighbor's shooting his gun, and my dog he doesn't like it, so. Okay, I know, he hates it. He's gonna sit out here and just bug me until I can't think of what I'm saying. What was I saying? Know how much hay your animal needs. Know what their feed requirements are. Get extra, just in case. You never know what is gonna happen. I would also like to add in this little suggestion for you guys. If you live where it's cold, invest in these heated waters. Yeah, do that. Don't waste all your time breaking ice. I'm telling you, I've already been breaking ice this morning. This bad boy's going out. I'm hooking all this up today. That's the last thing on my list. So this is with number 2, as get your animal stuff together. Get a heated water. Absolutely. And with your rabbits, I don't buy heated waters for my rabbit cages, just honestly because I don't want to run the electricity out there, and I don't have electricity over where they're at. So what I do is I get extra waters and I switch them out. When one freezes, I put a fresh one out, and then back and forth I just set those by the stove. They thaw out, and then I switch them out, and I just keep switching them out, and the rabbits are happy. And it works. It works for me. If you're wondering if that's a problem for you and you haven't been able to figure out, that's how I figured out how to do it. It's just the easiest way. Buy extra. And then always have one extra, just one extra put up in case one of those breaks. Because it's so easy in the wintertime for those waters to freeze and then crack. It's just busted. So get an extra. Number 3 is stock your pantry. I know that I have talked about this so many times, but you need to have your pantry stocked. Okay, for one, it's winter and you never know what's going to happen. Like I said earlier, you want to be prepared. But in this day and age, what do you got to be prepared for? There's so many things that can happen. There could be another lockdown. Bill Gates might get his secret wish of a smallpox pandemic. You never know what's going to happen, and you should be prepared. You need to have food for your family. How much food? What do you think? What do you feel like is a good amount of food? I feel like I want to have at least a few months of food at all times, just in case it gets sketchy and I don't want to leave the house. Honestly, if it gets sketchy, I won't leave. I'll be right here. So if y'all are out getting people sick, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to hang out here. So that's my plan, y'all. So that is it. Number 3, stock your pantry. Canned food's your friend. Buy things you like. Don't stock up on food that you're not going to eat, because that's just a waste of money. It's a waste of food, and it's a waste of your time and energy. Fill your freezer with meat. Oh my goodness, meat is a wonderful thing. If you don't eat meat, I'm sorry. I feel like you're totally missing out, but fill your freezer with meat. As you can see, the price of meat is going up. If you do it for no other reason than to save money later, do that. The price of meat is going to continue to inflate. Beans and rice. Beans and rice is your friend, guys. It's easy to store. It stores for a long time, and it is a complete protein when eaten together. Okay, guys, not by itself. Beans isn't a complete protein. Rice isn't a complete protein. But if you eat them together, then that is a complete protein that will sustain you for a long amount of time. So stock up on your beans and rice. Also, stock up on your seasonings, because you don't want to be eating beans and rice without seasonings. It's going to taste just terrible, and you're not going to want to eat that for a long amount of time. So stock up on your seasonings. Salt, pepper, garlic salt, onion powder. You want to have baking supplies like flour, baking soda, sugar, I don't know, salt, lots of salt. You can preserve meat with salt. You can do a lot of things with salt. So stock up on your salt. Make sure you have those seasonings in your pantry, because you don't want to be living you want to be living your best life even if you're stuck at home. You want to be eating good food even if you've been eating it for the past 10 days. You want it to taste good. I mean, if you don't have the seasonings, I am so sorry for you. Enjoy your beans and rice. Hopefully you got some meat in the freezer. Yes, and before I forget, there's one more thing you can do, and that is dehydrate food. Oh my goodness, my dehydrator is one of my best friends. I love to dehydrate apples. I love to dehydrate peppers and then turn them into seasonings. You can dehydrate onions. You can dehydrate meat. You can dehydrate just about anything, and it is, it's so good, and it lasts a lot longer that way. If you're interested in dehydrating and don't have any experience, stay tuned in December. I am going to try to put out at least a couple videos about dehydrating foods for Christmas gifts. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. Number 4, pick up and organize. I know that sounds crazy, but find all your shovels, find all your rakes, find your post hole diggers and your pounders, whatever that is. I don't know. T-post pounder. I don't know. Find all your stuff that you have, you know, strung about using and didn't put away. I am the worst at it, and I know I'm not the only one. You guys raise your hand. You can admit it if you do it too. But like, I'll get done with the job. I'll pick up a few things. I won't get everything. And then I'll go in and have me some tea. And I've forgotten because I have Hashimoto's and I forget things all the time. It's kind of irritating, but it's something that I have to deal with. Okay? So I make a winter list and I go out and I pick up all the things that I have forgotten before it snows. I learned my lesson the first winter I was here. It doesn't just snow a little bit, like in Oklahoma. When it snows a lot, and then it doesn't melt. So anything that's underneath the snow is there for months, and risks the possibility of getting damaged. So go outside, find all your stuff, find your shovels and your rakes, all the things. Okay, clean it up. Also, get your water hoses, drain all the water out of them, and store them for winter. You don't want ruined water hoses when it comes springtime. Water hoses that are cracked and need to be replaced. You don't want to deal with that, so just store your water hoses properly, okay? Make sure you get all the water drained out of those hoses. I like to make sure that all the summer things are put away, like the lawnmower and the weed eater and the kayaks and the canoes and their paddles and the life vests and, you know, all the things that come with summer that kind of just sit where it's easy to get to them. You need to get them put up. Don't forget, especially if you live someplace snowy. All right, you also make sure you get all your kids' toys picked up. The baseball bats, the baseballs, the everything, guys. It's a process and it takes me a few weeks. So I'm in that process right now and it's supposed to snow in a few days. So hopefully I get it finished or I'll be eating these words later about the time that this comes out. I'll let you guys know because I'll be honest. That's what I'm trying to be about, guys. I just want to be honest with you guys. If I fail, I'm just going to be like, yo, I failed. That is for the outdoor stuff, but there's indoor stuff on my clean and organized list. I like to make sure that we get all the winter stuff out, like the coats and the gloves and the hats and the snow boots and the snow bibs. So important here. You need to be prepared for winter because when it comes, whoo, she just comes, moves all our stuff in with like 5 of our friends, and she doesn't go anywhere for months. So get ready. Hang on. She's here. She's coming, guys. So get those winter things ready. Make sure you have all your winter clothes out. Make sure you have everything you need for your kids. Locate those snow shovels and the salts if you use them. I don't really use them. Sometimes if it gets real bad right where I walk out of the door, and that's pretty much it. But the snow shovels, whatever you're going to need. And don't forget to know where your roof rake is if you need one. Locate it today, guys. Because I have, okay, I'll admit, the first year I was here, it snowed on top of my roof rake, and it took me a hot minute to figure out where I put it, so I could rake the snow, or so Brandon could rake the snow off the roof of the house, because you have to do that if it snows a lot where you live. I don't know if you know that, but if it snows a lot where you live, you have to rake the top of your roof off so the snow doesn't get too heavy on your roof, because snow can get really heavy, guys. Anyways, so find your roof rake. Know where it is before it snows, because you know the rake's only like this big. It can get covered up with snow so fast. Trust me, experience talking. I also like to check around the house for any kind of air leaks, and I like to get those sealed up as soon as possible. An air leak can just make an area cold no matter what you do, and it can decrease the efficiency of your home. We don't want to do that, so make sure you check for those air gaps and you seal them up promptly. That's going to keep your booty a little bit warmer. And number 5, put your garden to bed. That's it. It's fairly easy. Number 5 is one of the, well, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's the easiest to explain for sure on a video. I like to cover up my beds with leaves and just give them a blanket. Just cover up my beds with some kind of mulch and pick up all my tools so they don't sit out in the snow. And then wait patiently for spring. Okay, I won't lie. I like to put a little rabbit poop and leaves, and then just wait. So those are the 5 things that I do every year to get ready for winter. And this list was pretty much compiled by a list of my mistakes that I have made in the past. So everybody makes mistakes. If you made a mistake last year, just learn from it. If you make a mistake this year, just learn from it. That's what I'm doing here. It's different living in northern Washington than it is in southern Oklahoma. Vastly different. And I'm learning all the time. And I learn every day something new, it seems like. So when people from the South come here and say it's like a different world, they mean that it is 100% like a different world. And it's been a lot of fun trying to navigate these really bitter cold waters of Washington. I bet my friends in Oklahoma are sitting outside in shorts right now, and it's like 30 degrees here. It's such an adjustment. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.